Hi, fifth graders. So, since it's Earth Week, we had originally started reading this book, which is a nonfiction informational text on life in the rainforest. And so, I want to remind you a little bit about what we talked about and what the threat to the rainforest were. And then, part of your reading assignment for today is going to be to read an article about a young child your age who's helping fix the rainforest. So, this is called Life in the Rainforest, and we read some of this together at school when we were at Bryant. But I wanted to remind you in this nonfiction informational text the reason for the destruction of the rainforest. So I wanted to read you that part and tell you why it's an issue. And this is one of our things with Earth Day that's kind of important to understand. So, one of the facts that you may remember us reading about is that rainforests make up about half of the world's species of plants and animals. So, it's really an important area for us to maintain. And they're home not only to a large number of animals and plants, but they also have a huge generation of people that live there as well. And so, we need to protect and make sure that these areas of our world are taken care of. So, one of the reasons that they are being destroyed is they're natural treasure houses. And so I'm going to read you a little bit about it, and you can check out the picture there. I think you'll learn a little bit more about what that's about in just a minute. But it says that rainforests are natural treasure houses, but they are being destroyed for nothing more than timber, so the wood, and the land on which they stand. This is because most rainforests are found in poor developing countries. These countries cannot afford to keep their beautiful forests. Large areas of rainforests are sold to timber companies, and they send bulldozers and chainsaw gangs into the forest to cut down the hardwood trees. The wildlife flees, and although only the oldest and largest trees are felled, over half of the forest may be damaged by the time all the work is finished. I need to put my glasses on. There's a picture caption here. You remember what those are? Words that explain the picture. And it says, an estimated 500 million people have moved into the world's rainforests, and more are sure to follow. They clear the forest to farm small areas of the land for food and money. So right there, take a minute to think to yourself, what's one of the reasons that people are clearing the rainforest? They are clearing the rainforest to farm small areas of that land for food and then sell it for money. Rainforests are cleared completely to reach rich mineral reserves such as iron and copper, uranium, or to make huge cash crop plantations of coffee, cocoa, or bananas. So what are some industries in the rainforest that people might be wanting to get to? Talk about that with mom or sister or brother or someone near you. So if you said iron, copper, uranium, coffee, cocoa, bananas, those are some of the crops that are very fruitful, and people want those things, and so they're in search of them. Big business is only half the story. There are thousands of poor homeless people in the rainforest countries who are encouraged to leave the overcrowded cities and to farm pieces of rainforest land. They're called slash and burn farmers because they build simple homesteads in the forest and then burn the surrounding vegetation to enrich the soil. And that's what you're seeing here in this picture. See the difference between the rich world of distant green rainforests and the lifeless cracked earth in the foreground. Huge areas of Brazil have been devastated, and animals and plants are gone forever. And you can check that out if you take a look in the background. Over here, you will see the lush green forests that are still there. And in the foreground, the front of the picture, you can see the slash and burn farmers have burned great areas of that rainforest in order to get the soil ready to farm. Did you know that industrial countries buy more than 18 times more hardwood today than they did 50 years ago? And over half of Central America's rainforests are gone. They have been cleared to build huge cattle ranches, and much of the meat produced is sold to Western countries to feed the demands of their growing burger market. So these are some of the reasons that the rainforests are sought after. I just wanted to show you this picture really quick. This page is called Paradise Lost, From Good to Bad. And I'm going to read you this next section. And then I'm going to ask you to go on and read a short article about what one young girl is doing to try to help with this problem. It can take less than 10 years for rainforest land to become as barren and lifeless as a desert. This is because most rainforests are found on poor clay soils. Only a thin layer of nutritious topsoil covers the forest floor, and this is anchored by giant tree trunks. Slash and burn farmers, like we saw on the last page, clear rainforest land to grow their crops. But after only a few years, the tropical rains wash the topsoil away, and the land becomes too difficult to cultivate to get ready to plant. The wastelands left behind by farmers are baked by the sun and drenched by the rain, and the rain, which would have watered thirsty trees and plants, falls straight to the ground and runs downhill, carrying tons of soil with it. Valleys are then flooded, and freshwater river becomes clogged with mud. Tropical scientists believe that at the present rate of destruction, there will be no rainforests left by the year 2050. Think about that. What year are we in? 2020. So by 2050, they're predicting that there will be no rainforest lands left. It's kind of sad. If this paradise is lost, thousands of different plants and animals will disappear forever. This area here says From Good to Bad. It's a little text box. We learned about those when we were studying nonfiction text features. And I'm going to read you what it says there. It says, trees and plants help to keep the air around us clean. They use sunlight, water, and air to make food. And in the food making process, they make use of the part of the air that we breathe out, carbon dioxide. And they produce the part that we breathe in, oxygen. When rainforests are burned down to clear the land, the trees stop using up carbon dioxide. Instead, the forest fires produce carbon dioxide, which pollutes the atmosphere. So this is what happens and why the rainforests are having such a problem. It's really sad when you think about it. So I was just kind of reviewing with you some of the things that we learned from life in the rainforest. And I'm going to ask you today to read an article about a little girl who's doing something about it. She's very young, but she is just like you guys. Always look for the helpers, because the helpers can always help out, even when you think they can't. So I want you to take a look at that article today, and then if you would answer the questions that I also upload, that would be great. And you can share it back with me, or you can just write out your answers on a piece of paper and take a picture of it and post it in the comments section, or email it to tuma@owasso.k12.mi.us. All right, guys, have a great day.